Hello everybody and welcome to the final edition of Let's Talk Criterion for the month of August. And indeed it's been an eventful month for us with our recent live stream, and my special thanks goes to Chris Mohan who joined me on that live stream. And of course we talked about what might be happening with 4K in the UK with Criterion, but none of us predicted that 4K would be coming quite so fast. With the announcement of Martin Scorsese's After Hours now out there for Monday the 9th of October here in the UK on 4K. It's gone up on pre-order on HMV, Zavi and Amazon UK at £29.99, and there's a separate Blu-ray priced at £22.99. Certainly great news for all UK collectors. And now to our title releasing on Tuesday the 29th of August. It's directed by Cauleen Smith. She's an American-born filmmaker and multimedia artist, and she's best known for her feature film Drylongso and her experimental works that address the African-American identity, specifically the issues facing black women today. Now, Cauleen Smith is currently a professor in the Department of Art at the University of California, Los Angeles. In 1991, Smith completed her BA in cinema at San Francisco State University. While she was a student there, she completed several films, including Daily Rains, which was completed in 1990, and Chronicles of a Lying Spirit by Kelly Gabron, which was fully completed in 1993. Cauleen Smith was accepted into MFA programme at UCLA in 1994, and in her second year of the programme, Smith decided to shoot a feature-length film entitled Drylongso. However, it was against UCLA's rules for film students to shoot feature-length films, and for good reason. You don't know what you're doing, as Smith has said. In the early 1990s, Cauleen Smith was working at the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic and the Glide Memorial Church in San Francisco. Now, she kept hearing about young African-American men who were being murdered or going to prison. At the same time, she was seeing young African-American girls who were dealing with teen pregnancies and a bureaucratic welfare system. Now, Smith was reported to say, "I was seeing young black girls 8 or 9 years of age who really needed someone to care for them. I got tired of seeing young black women being talked about in terms of blame, teen pregnancy, welfare, whereas young black men were being talked about as victims in need of defence. Girls are treated with such disrespect." Pika came out of that frustration. Smith's interest in the marginalised youth inspired her to make a short film, which became the basis for the feature Drylongso. Now, Drylongso is a film about 2 black girls specifically, each experiencing a kind of jeopardy and isolation, each looking for a way of escape. The tools at their disposal were limited, as were the filmmakers. Back then, baggy clothes were the armour of the streets. They protected the black body from the extreme surveillance they were and still are subjected to. Baggy pants and a hoodie could hide a weapon, cash, or groceries. Depending on how these clothes were worn, they could also obscure gender, which came in extremely handy when one was in need of mobility. Now, people didn't need to have the language that they have now to talk about why and how that mattered, and to talk about being cisgendered or the jeopardy faced indeed by black trans women. Now, Cauleen Smith developed the script for Drylongso over the span of several years. She thought it might become a short film. While outlining Pika's story, she started taking Polaroid pictures. She would go and take them everywhere. She would approach young black men and ask if she could take their picture. Now, inevitably, they would ask, why? Her response was pretty much what Pika says in the film. Her own words, "I am documenting the presence and faces of young black men because they are an endangered species." Now, most would simply shrug and pose and make small talk while they waited for the image to resolve. But this was the 90s. Violence was at a surreal level. Oakland's Highland Hospital became known for training military medics because in their emergency room you could see all types of gunshot wounds, just like on a battlefield. Now, Cauleen states she doesn't even remember ever attending a hip-hop show without gunfire popping off. And indeed, she says they were living on a battlefield and in the wake of HIV and ACT UP. Now, the scenes reproduced all hinge around the slippage and play between Pika's collection of Polaroid portraits of young black men and her Orisha tarot deck, which she takes with her everywhere. Now, the tarot deck pops up again and again in the film, offering a device through which Pika can understand her fate or indeed her future. At times, tarot cards give way to the Polaroid portraits, and they replace the Yoruba Orishas with the visages of young black men. Now, the film Drylongso was well received at many film festivals, including the Sundance Film Festival, and in 2000, Drylongso also won Best Feature at the Urban Word Festival, the Los Angeles Pan-African Film Festival, and the Philadelphia International Film Festival. Now, the film received a restoration and a theatrical re-release in March of 2023 from Janus Films. The cast of Drylongso consists of Toby Smith as Pika Sullivan, April Barnett as Toby, Will Parr as Malik, Chanel Schaffer as Gloria Sullivan, Salim Al-Kil as Mr. Yamada, Stacey Marbray as Tiffany, Keith Williams as Mohammed, Syed Youssef Bey as Muslim Brother, Earl Ford as Tide, Kylan Matthews as Tyson, Patrick Pulliam as Kev, Timothy Braggs as Jefferson. Drylongso is released on Blu-ray in the Criterion collection for the first time, and it has the following special features. There's a new 4K digital restoration approved by the director Cauleen Smith with uncompressed mono soundtrack. A new conversation between Cauleen Smith and the film scholar Michael B. Gillespie. The short films produced by Smith, including the ones I mentioned, Chronicles of a Lying Spirit by Kelly Gabron, Songs for Earth and Folk, Lessons in Semaphore, Egungun Ancestor Can't Find Me, Remote Viewing, and Suffolk, and a new introduction to all of those films by Cauleen Smith. There's a trailer and an essay by the film scholar Yasmina Price, and the new cover art for Drylongso is by Krista Franklin. Drylongso from 1998 has a running time of 81 minutes, and it's in 1:3:3:1 format, and it releases on Tuesday the 29th of August in the US only, on Blu-ray as Spine 1190. We'll be back in a week's time with the first of the September releases, and that's the 4K of the popular Princess Bride coming to the collection. Until then, from me, it's goodbye, and above all, good Criterion viewing.